Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Beau again. So today, we're going to talk about Trump, suits, and boots on the ground. Trump's desire to use the might of the American military within the borders of the U.S. has led to a flurry of suits being filed by Oregon, California, Chicago, and Illinois. Trump tried to deploy troops to Portland over a one-block area. The move was blocked by a judge he appointed. It appears the administration tried to circumvent that order by sending troops from California, but that too was blocked by the judge. Meanwhile, in Chicago, a judge declined to block that deployment. Now, Trump has brought up the use of the Insurrection Act of 1807. There's a couple of interesting things about this. First, in what wasn't entirely expected, it shows the administration, or at least the commanders he would be trying to order to move in, are following the law. See, right now the deployments are under a different authorization. He's leaning into Title X authorizations currently, which is more narrow. His talk of invoking the Insurrection Act, which is a wider authorization, suggests that either he or the troops involved are concerned about the legalities of the deployments. Now, the Insurrection Act allows for much wider authorization, but only in limited circumstances. There are three main sections that can be used. Section 251 allows the president to invoke it upon request of the governor or state legislature. It also allows it in the event that the legislature is unavailable. Picture E.T. coming down and snatching up the governor and legislature of a state. This section isn't at play because states where the governor isn't opposed could be covered under other authorizations. Section 252 allows a president to invoke the act if unlawful obstructions, combinations or assemblages, or rebellion make it impracticable to enforce federal law through the ordinary course of judicial proceedings. This is widely believed to mean that federal courts can't function. But regardless of belief, Trump has to admit that he has failed to maintain order to use this section. Mr. Law and Order would have to admit that his policies led to a breakdown of both. Section 253 gets weird. There are two parts to it. The first allows invocation to counter any insurrection, domestic violence, unlawful combination, or conspiracy that stops execution of federal laws. A good example of this is Eisenhower deploying troops to Little Rock to enforce desegregation. The other part allows invocation if a rebellion, quote, opposes or obstructs the execution of the laws of the United States or impedes the course of justice under those laws. Okay, that part is really broad, but again, requires that Trump acknowledge a failure. Now, there's two other considerations. Trump may not really understand what the Insurrection Act allows troops to do. It generally allows them to enforce federal law. It also doesn't suspend constitutional rights. Troops will still have to abide by the Constitution. Sterling v. Constantine, 1932. The Bill of Rights is still in effect and would likely be respected more by troops trained to err on the side of caution on this one. There's also one other thing. While the Insurrection Act gives a president absurdly broad leeway, judicial review can occur if the president goes outside a, quote, permitted range of honest judgment. I'm going to suggest that Trump basing his decision to use troops in Portland on news clips that were half a decade old might be outside that permitted range. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.